There you go.
Like, look at that thing. If you'd be like, they're coming. Oh my God, they're coming. But if you can imagine that was 40 or 50 years ago, 40 or 50 years of advancement, like who knows what they're doing now.
Yep, exactly.
And if I was going to cover it up, I would just start talking about aliens. It's the best way to do it. Don't you think?
It's a crowd pleaser.
Do you have an opinion on that, or is this something that you find ridiculous until there's like real data?
I like living in a world where there are unknowns. I like there being some mystery. So I like...
Like how far do you go? Do you go Bigfoot?
I don't know. I just... I'm not even saying I need to have a point of view on them. It's more just... by the way, there is a UFO right behind you.
Yeah.
You probably know all about that.
I'm obsessed with UFOs.
Lifting somebody right up into the air.
Look, there's one on the desk. That's the model of the Bob Lazar craft that he worked on supposedly at Area 51.
There we go. Looks familiar. Look, I want there to be mystery, right? I want there to be unknowns. Like living in a world where everything is settled, quote unquote settled. No. Let's have some mystery. I don't even know if I really want to know.
Really?
It's like I don't know.
Oh, I think if you know, that's just the tip of the iceberg of the mystery. I think knowing that aliens do exist is just the beginning.
Yeah.
Like, okay, did they engineer us?
Uh-huh.
When did they start visiting?
Mm-hmm.
Are the stories from the Bhagavad Gita, is that about UFOs?
Mm-hmm. Have they been here the whole time?
Yeah, have they been here the whole time? Mm-hmm. Do they come every now and then and make sure we don't blow ourselves up? Like, what's the purpose?
Yep, exactly.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm in favor of
Come on, man.
Right,
you want to know?
Okay, all right, I'm in.
If anybody's going to know, you're going to know. So I'm going to call you.
So Elon says this. Elon says he hasn't seen anything.
Yeah, I'm super suspicious when he says that. Super
suspicious that they haven't told him, or that he's maybe playing a little hide the ball.
If I was him, I'd play hide the ball. Yeah. If I'm running SpaceX, I'm working with NASA, and I already got in trouble smoking weed on a Joe Rogan Experience. I would fucking play ball. Let's play ball. Aliens, I have no evidence.
No idea.
They sure are subtle.
Yep.
That's what he says. They sure are subtle. It depends on who you are. If you're one of those people that's seen those things, if you're like Commander David Fravor, or if you're Ryan Graves, you know the Ryan Graves story?
No.
Fighter pilot, and they upgraded their equipment in 2014, and all of a sudden, because of the new capabilities of their equipment, they were able to see these objects at a far distance that were moving at insane rates of speed, that were hovering dead still at 120 knot winds,
right.
And no visible means of propulsion. They don't know what the fuck they're doing,
right.
And they were encountering them like every couple of weeks, and then there was some pilots were encountering them with eyewitness accounts. They say there's video footage of it, but of course nobody can get a hold of that. It's like the whole thing is very strange.
Okay, so here's something. So a lot of people worried about AI are like, we need to shut it down before it like causes problems.
Right.
Like wake up the demon, cause an issue, get something on Earth that hates us and wants to kill us. Arguably the thing we should have shut down from the very beginning was radio.
Radio.
Right, because we've been like broadcasting radio waves for the last 100, 120 years, and the radio waves don't stop once they leave Earth's atmosphere. They keep going. And so we now have radio waves of human activity that have radiated out 120 light years.
Is that bad?
Well, depends. Are there hostile aliens within 120 light years? And so but maybe that was the original sin. And then of course television, of course, made that problem much worse.
Right. We would have to think of like a hostile, militaristic empire that took over a whole planet and then started exploring the solar system. Not one that we like to think of aliens as being evolved, hyper intelligent, beyond ego and war. They've bypassed all that, and now they're into science and exploration. And
well, here's the question though: is like, would aliens have a sense of humor, right? Would they like be able to differentiate between truth and fiction, right? And so, like for example, suppose they're sitting in their advanced alien base on Gemini 9 or whatever, and they're receiving 30 years, 20 years after the fact episodes of Fear Factor, right? And they think that you're actually like torturing people, and they figure that in order to preserve the human rights of humanity, they need to invade as a consequence of your show and take over and protect us.
That doesn't make any sense.
Well, but if they don't have a sense of humor, if they don't know
even
this,
if they don't have a sense of humor, they can clearly see that these people are in a contest.
Why would they even have a concept of a contest? I mean, how silly is that? A serious species.
It's competition.
Wouldn't do such things.
But a serious species started out as a dumb species.
No,
unless they're magic.
you're hoping that they understand these things.
Yes.
Because it would really suck to be the guy whose TV, show caused the invasion. Right?
If there's anything, it would be American Gladiators.
Oh, okay, all right.
That would
See?
be the start of
It'd
it.
be like this species is so warlike they can't stop.
No, what would be like the start? What would be the one thing that would be like, that's enough? It would have to be news. It would have to be war. I mean, that would be, forget about Fear Factor.
Yep.
We're broadcasting, the images of the Vietnam War.
Yeah, or maybe they saw movies about alien invasions and they thought we'd been invaded by other aliens.
Right.
Yeah,
Like, what
see?
if Mars attacks is the
Mars-
first things they get?
Exactly.
So you like having the mystery of the idea out there. Like, it's fun for you.
I don't want ever. We need adventure, right?
If someone came to you, someone from on high, and said, "Listen, we have to promise you to secrecy, but we want to show you some things because I think it's pertinent to some of the things you're working on."
I'm in. Yeah.
Me too.
I'm gonna drop my.
Me too. I'm not telling nobody. I'll come in here and be just like Elon.
Yep, exactly.
Oh, show all subtle.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's just too interesting to know.
Yep.
But I think eventually I'd tell.
Yep.
I think I'd feel terrible.
Yep.
I'd feel a responsibility.
Yep.
Yeah.
Someday.
Well, that's what some of these guys are saying. Like Grush, he's saying that once he found out about the program, he felt like he had a responsibility. Like if they really have a crashed UFO retrieval program, like what? Why don't you tell people? Like you should not. The military companies shouldn't be the ones that have access to this only, and the whoever is determining that this is above top secret clearance and nobody can get a hold of it except for this very select few people. Like, says who? This is something that involves the whole human race.
Right.
Like, I know if they do had something, I would imagine that it's of interest to national security that you develop this kind of technology before the competitors do. That clearly makes sense.
So then, what technologies came out of it in the last 50 years?
Well, if you want to go full tinfoil hat, there's a lot of speculation that fiber optics were developed after a recovered crashed UFO. I mean, I'm sure it sounds silly because there's probably a real paper trail to the development of fiber optics. But if you, the real kooks believe that. There was actually a website, a computer company called American Computer Company. And it was a legitimate computer company. You would order a computer with whatever specifications you want, and they would build it for you. But they had a whole section of their website that was dedicated to crashed retrieval of UFOs and the development of various technologies. And they had like this tracing back to Bell Labs and why the military base was outside of Bell Labs when it was so far from New York City that it was really just about protecting the lab because they were working with these top secret materials that they had recovered from Roswell.